food. It is not the massive homelessness problem. It is not the inability of the government in Washington to function. It is not any of those things. It is the Dave Chappelle Netflix special where there are employees of Netflix who are angry at this, staging a walkout of the special. So it is a special that I, full disclosure, have not seen all of. I watched a little bit of it. You know, he's a master. Was it the funniest thing in the world? No. Is he expressing an opinion held by the vast majority of human beings about men and women? Yes. But the CEO of Netflix, Ted Sarandos, who's Greek, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Interesting. So, because there's not a lot of successful Greek people. Mm-hmm. There's really not.
That's true.
The vast majority of Greeks are not doing well. But some of them are, right? They own diners, but they're more working class people. And Ted Sarandos, good for him. Is John Stamos. There's a few of them.
A couple, yeah.
Rita Wilson, Tom Hanks' wife. It's not a huge group. So Ted Sarandos, Greek, Giannis Papas, Greek, defended Dave Chappelle and said, listen, guys, we're going to put out things. You may not like them. We don't think it's going to lead to real-world violence against trans people. That was basically the gist of his statement. Netflix chief again defends Chappelle's special. Quote, content doesn't directly translate to real-world harm. He said, we have Dave Chappelle on our platform. We also have Hannah Gadsby. And then Hannah Gadsby, who we don't know where she's been. She's somewhere in Australia enforcing a lockdown, I'll tell you that much. Where is she? She's in New Zealand, right? Blinking? Anyway, Hannah Gadsby, she's atypical, neurodivergent, whatever. She's not always with us. And when she is with us, she says some very disturbing things and then goes back to where she lives. And that's great. But she doesn't really know what's going on. Or she's kind of fuzzy. It just seems like she's like a fuzzy photograph, right? Her hair is never quite done. She's just kind of low. And this is the way it is. Mullen does a great impression of her. But every now and then she gets real fired up. You know, when someone insults Greta Thunberg or whatever. She gets real fired up when a white guy does something bad. So she looked at Ted Sarandos. She was like, fuck him. And she literally said, hey, Ted Sarandos, just a quick note to let you know that I would prefer if you didn't drag my name into your mess. Now I'll have to deal with even more of the hate and anger that Dave Chappelle's fans like to unleash on me every time Dave gets $20 million to process his emotionally stunted partial worldview. Fuck you and your amoral algorithm cult. I do... What? With more backbone than you? What is that word?
I can do more shits?
I can do more shits with more backbone than you. What? This is what I mean. She's not fully with us.
Yeah.
She's not fully with us. And God bless her. She's a child of God. She goes, that's just a joke. I definitely didn't cross the line because you just told the world there isn't one. Gadsby captured her post. Yes, I watched the whole thing. Leave me alone. Trans is beautiful. Comedy is dead. I killed her. Those are the hashtags.
It says here she's trans as well. I didn't know that.
Well, I didn't either.
I had no idea.
I had no idea. Yeah. Does she talk about this in the net?
I don't think so.
I don't remember it.
No, right?
I don't know. Well, I want to see them, both of them, hash it out. Mm. You know? Who cares about any of this? Comedy's dumb. Stop watching it. Stop watching comedy specials. Get a life. Truly. Stop watching comedy specials. Stop watching specials. You have horrible lives. You have horrible lives. People are doing so much cool shit on this planet. Stop watching fucking anybody talk for an hour. Except this show. Because this is different. But the others out there are wasting your time. Not me, never would. I respect you. Stop. Turn it off. Turn it off. And turn this on. They're canceling Halloween in Seattle, which makes me think, or not canceling it, but there's a school in Seattle where they're banning the Halloween parade, which makes you glad I own a house in Texas because, you know, it's good to hedge your bets and you don't know what's going to happen with these people. I don't know what's going to happen. Seattle Elementary School cancels its annual pumpkin parade because it, quote, I don't even understand this, marginalizes students of color who don't celebrate Halloween. Who are these students that do not celebrate Halloween? I'm truly confused. Benjamin Franklin Day Elementary School. By the way, how is that still the name of this school? Benjamin Franklin Day Elementary School has canceled its upcoming Halloween parade because it, quote, marginalizes students of color. Administrators claim that a number of students, especially African American boys, do not celebrate Halloween and feel excluded. I've never heard of this. Have you heard of this? We have our friends on the couch. I've never heard that African American boys do not celebrate Halloween.
No, never heard that.
I've never heard of that.
Unless they're Muslim, crap.
I guess, but I don't even know. Are they, what about all the gang initiations on Halloween? There's tons of gang initiations on Halloween, and I think African American boys probably participate in that, as do white boys and many young men. So I hope we're not canceling that. As a school with a foundational beliefs around equity for our students and families, see, I don't even understand what this means here. Let's get rid of the pumpkin parade event. We're getting rid of the pumpkin parade and requesting that students do not come to school in costumes. And I think part of it is that certain kids don't have money for costumes. But that was always the way it was. And forever, there's been Halloween parades where kids would show up, and some of the kids had really cool costumes. Some of the kids came in with costumes their parents made. And then there was the dirty kid. There's a kid named Ryan. I don't want to say his name. He was dirty, filthy. And he would come in, white guy, Irish kid, and he would come in filthy. And his parents would just beat him every day and night, and they would piss on him, and he never had anything. And he would come to school, and he would always look like high, but he was never high. But I think he was just getting beaten so much, and he was malnourished. He used to eat like pixie sticks and Fun Dip. You know, it was bad. So this kid Ryan would come, and he'd be embarrassed because he'd be like, "Oh, it's Halloween. I forgot." We're like, and it was rough. It was very sad. But then, like, the teachers would give him like a pumpkin mask, so he could do the parade with everybody else. So this poor kid who smelled like beer piss from a bar and who was still bloody from the parents just kicking the shit out of him would just put on a pumpkin mask and walk. Why, if you cancel it, his life's not going to get better. That's my point. His life doesn't get better. Ryan's parents don't decide to love him. They don't even know the parade's happening. They don't give a shit. So he would be sad, kind of. He would be sad. I remember we went to his house once to smoke cigarettes. And he goes, "My house is kind of messy." And I was like, "But I hang out at Rosie's, the crack house, 3 doors down from him." He goes, right. I'm like, "I don't care. We don't care." Well, we went in there and you could see just cereal and bad, just cigarettes, like ashtrays overflowing with cigarettes. Like, he had a bad life. Certain kids have a bad life. It's very, very hard, you know? And he was the type of kid who they're talking about, like, not, you know, privileged, didn't have parents that cared, and didn't show up with the uniform, you know? Like, I mean, I'm sorry, with the Halloween costume. He didn't have, so the teachers would like give him, because they had those little pumpkin masks. They were plastic, and they would go on.
With the one string.
Yeah, it was one string. It was not a lot. It wasn't good. But then there was a girl who was like 600 pounds. They dressed her as a princess. Like, her parents brought her in, and she was just like walking around as a princess. And then, like, most of the kids had masks, right? Cool kids have masks, like Freddy Krueger, like, "Fuck it. Yeah, we're gonna kill you. It's Halloween." And then, like, the fat girl, like the real fat one, her name was Jennifer, she'd go like this. Like, she would just do this every day with her head. I don't know why. It might have been a thing, but she would go like this every day.
I know what you mean.
She would just do this every single day, like this. And they put her in a princess outfit, and she would walk like this. And then Ryan, who smelled like piss, would have his little thing. It was nice, is my point. It was a nice day. And you can't ruin this. You can't take this away for kids. Not everybody. It's insane. Everyone celebrates Halloween. Halloween is about eating candy and fucking smashing fucking car windows or throwing eggs, shaving cream, vandalism, the idea that you would just vandalize things. It's a beautiful idea. And these are people that are pro-vandalism. They love vandalism. Well, where do you think people get the itch? It starts with Halloween. They don't just get into Antifa. You start with Halloween. You do a few, a couple of eggs, a little shaving cream on the stop sign, and then you graduate to, federal banks in Portland. But I don't understand why they're taking this away. Is there any reasoning for this at all? Is there any reasoning?
They decided to cancel the event this year because it'd be upsetting for children who can't afford a costume. That's all it is.
But then just buy them costumes. You cheap fucks. Why not buy them costumes?
Well, also they cite the loud noise levels and crowds are triggering for some children.
Well, that I agree with. I don't like the noise. Get rid of it. I do agree with that. I don't like the noise at all. That's a very good point. All right, well, we'll have to skip it this year. Moving on, we have a feel-good story. It's a very good point. I didn't realize that. They yell and scream. It is disgusting. Yeah. We have a feel-good story now coming out of Austin, Texas. Now, we try to find these stories. God help us, because, as you know, things in the country are not good. Inflation, the price of a McGriddle now is what, $38? One McGriddle, $38. It's bad. And the government just keeps telling you that if you complain about inflation, you're a Nazi white supremacist. And the press secretary is always like, what is it? I'm sorry that your gun is costing you too much money this month. You're like, well, I'm kind of, the chicken wings they've gone up. My family likes chicken wings. But the price of everything is going up. Food and gas, and the supply chains are broken down. Quote, almost everything a person needs to buy is more expensive. Blame the pandemic. The supply chains have broken down. We have all kinds of chaos. Now, can you play the video of this woman? Let's play this woman who's being interviewed outside a grocery store. There's nothing better than when you get a person outside of a grocery store to give an opinion. Quote, everything has gone sky high, from groceries to gas, prices skyrocketing and could get worse.
Here we go.
More than expected on everything from food to housing to gas. At this point, it is very hard to ignore. Everywhere we go, things are more expensive. So how much more can prices go up? And what's causing this rapid inflation? Tonight, Christina Rex set out to get some answers.
Prices are ridiculous.
The meat is above and beyond. All right, it's gone sky high. Everything has gone sky high, and it's extremely sad.
Have you noticed it too?
The meat is above and beyond. And my husband likes meat. And I make him meat, and I've made him meat for my entire life. I brown it with butter and ham. And it's sky high now. We eat 6 pounds of meat a week, and now I can't afford it. And I made a salad the other day, and my husband grabbed me by the throat, and he took my head, and he mushed it. You ever mush someone? He mushed my face. He didn't hit me, but he mushed me. He mushed me into the wall. And he said, you better find a way to make this work. It's sky high. Well, this woman, again, they're outside of a store called Market Basket. God help us. But it's sad because, people need groceries, and they're too expensive now. And, it's very unfortunate. All this stuff is going on, and this is the result of a breakdown in the supply chain. There's other people blaming the pandemic. They're saying the simplest explanation is everyone has been cooped up for a year and not spending as much as they ordinarily would. And now we all decided at the same time we wanted to go out and spend money on things, said Tony Cookson, co-director of the Center for Research on Consumer Financial Decision Making. Quote, when we all decide to do that at the same time, the issue is the economy needs to provide us with all those goods. We don't have unlimited capacity to do that. Well, then there's also the thing where you have less people working. You have a lot of people now, and this is probably a good thing in the long term. They have more leverage. Workers have more leverage, and they're striking now because there are less workers. And Kellogg's, you hear about this? They are striking at Kellogg's. Now, I don't know the specifics of this. I can't imagine I'm going to side with Kellogg's. But the workers want benefits. They want retirement packages. They want days off. And Kellogg's cereal is basically coming out and saying, fuck you, we'll move the jobs to Mexico. and then denying it. They're saying we didn't say that. Find, Ben, the statement from Kellogg's cereal. Kellogg's put out a statement. There's people standing in the rain. I believe it's in Omaha, Nebraska, and they're protesting and they're saying we want better hours, we want more money, we want better benefits. And then Kellogg's has a counterpoint to all that, and they put out a video where they were just basically like, what you need to do is keep your mouth shut.
Is this it right here?
I believe so. Battle Creek, Michigan. Kellogg Company today is publicly addressing the terms of its master labor contract negotiation. So they're sending out Chris Bonner. Chris Bonner, I guess, is an executive at... Is that her? Is she an executive?
It says Kellogg Company spokesperson. This is the person they hired.
She's the spokesperson. She's going to soften the message. Because the guy, you can't bring out like Mr. Kellogg. He'll be like, fuck these commie faggots. You can't do that. You can't do that. Put the hoses on them. Turn the hose. She's like, let's talk about building a family. Turn the hoses on. In my day, we had dogs. We took hoses and sprayed them. So this is Chris Bonner. She's the spokesperson for the Kellogg's cereal company that is trying very hard to retain the slave labor.
We value all our employees and recognize their efforts.
First of all, couldn't they have gotten anyone else to do this than this Karen? Look at this woman. This woman could not effectively communicate anything. They have billions of dollars, and they can't get anyone better than her. We value all of our employees. Let's continue this.
Especially during this global pandemic. We are deeply concerned that the union at our 4 U.S. cereal plants has decided to strike and what that means for our employees. Being away from work puts our people and their families in a difficult position and can create financial hardships.
And pay them.
Our number one priority is to get back to the negotiations table and reach a contract so our employees can get back to their jobs and their lives.
Now, Kellogg's
defense,
the contract that Kellogg offered was very fair. You were allowed to use the bathroom twice a week. This was a fair contract. This is not a bad deal. It was a 16-hour day with 2 breaks. Every 8 hours, you would take a break. The break was supervised. You would take a supervised break, and you would take a break, which I think is nice, at your station. Because when you go outside, they've done a lot of studies that going outside has all kinds of effects on the worker. They see the blue sky and they get very distracted, and it's very triggering. So they have the break at the station, and you have the break, and you stand there silently, and it's a supervised break because they, again, don't want anyone going outside or making a phone call or calling home or doing anything that could distract them. And every 8 hours, you get one of these breaks. Twice a week, you're allowed to leave your station and use the restroom. For number 2. Number 1 is a catheter. So whatever you're doing, as you're toasting the, I don't know what the hell they're doing, the Special K, as you're toasting the cornflakes, or that's General Mills, Kellogg's is what?
Cornflakes? I think it's cornflakes, right?
No, it might be General Mills. You don't think. Find out. We're slandering a company. Let's at least slander the right one.
Hold on. Here, I'm on their foods and brands. Here we go. Kellogg's cornflakes.
Yeah, cornflakes and all kinds of stuff. So as you're toasting the cornflakes, you will use the rest. You will have a catheter, meaning you will pee, and then there'll be a colostomy bag on your leg of your what's the word for piss?
Urine or
whatever of your urine on the leg, and it's not a big deal. Now, in terms of a vacation,
Okay.
they're offering a vacation at a Kellogg's approved facility, which will be very similar to a resort.
Okay.
But you will work during the vacation because it gives you pride. It gives you dignity. Going to a resort is undignified, but going to a specialized Kellogg's and where you will work 8-hour days as opposed to 16, and you will then spend time with your family. And they're throwing in frosted mini wheats for the children at the Kellogg's themed resort. It'll have a pool. It'll have fun history of Kellogg stuff on the walls, and frosted mini wheats for your children. If your children get sick from eating corn pops or Eggo waffles or any of their products, Fruit Loops. I love how they have Kashi, like they don't even, But if your kids get sick, they will allow you an hour to take your child to the doctor. Now, they're not going to pay for it, but if you can find the money to get your kid to the doctor, you can leave the facility for 1 hour. At 1 hour and 1 minute, you will forfeit your pay for the week. I don't think these are bad terms. Let's continue with this woman because I think she's fair.
Concerned that the union struck without allowing members to vote on the company's October 1st offer. Kellogg's proposals have been grossly misrepresented by the union in statements to their membership and to media, and we want our employees to have all the information they need.
This is what they're doing. This is the real thing they're offering. 9% wage increase for legacy employees. We don't even know what that means. 9%. Pathway to full legacy rate and significant increases for transitional employees, which means the entire company. Transitional employees, like everyone.
Right.
No change to employees' current health care plans. Enhanced interrogation. No, I'm kidding. Enhanced retirement benefits for transitional employees. Increased pension multiplier. No proposals related to continuous crew or alternative work schedules. 1 week paid time off at vacation rate. 1 week. Not bad. Not bad. 1 week paid time off, which you can spend going to the doctor with your kids. Because let's finish this woman.
Need to make informed decisions for themselves and their families. Let's start with what we are not doing. Kellogg is not asking employees to give up health care, retirement benefits, or holiday and vacation pay.
Right.
The fact is, we're proud that most employees working under this contract have industry-leading pay and benefits, and all have above-market wages and retirement.
The grain industry.
In fact, the average 2020 earnings for the majority of our hourly cereal employees was $120,000 per year, and more than a third earned between $120,000.
The math done. Get to that. We're all supposed to believe that a bunch of people making $120K a year are incensed, which is a complete lie. She goes, the average 2020 earnings for our hourly Kellogg cereal employees, meaning they're averaging like 5 people who've been there forever who they actually pay. With everyone else. But there's no way that's the case. There's no way that a bunch of people are making $120,000 a year in the Kellogg's factory and they're all striking right now. There's just such a lot. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, in Kansas, making $120 an hour.
Our average hourly employee earns $5 million a year. We have industry-leading pay. That can't be true.
$20,000 and $200,000. Most also have unparalleled, no-cost, comprehensive health insurance, meaning they pay nothing for their health care. No premiums, no deductibles, nothing. Less senior employees have the same health insurance plan that all our salaried employees have, except they pay much lower employee contributions than the rest of us, a construct that was agreed upon with the union.
So why are they doing this? Are they sociopaths? What are they doing? Why are they doing it? Have they lost their minds? I don't,
Right.
What are they doing? Free health care, $120,000 a year? Sounds great.
Right.
What are you talking about? Let's go to can we get a Kellogg employee who's probably just going to be full of scabs and bleeding?
Yeah. Let's find an employee.
Just some Vietnam veteran sitting there in a wheelchair, just fucking bleeding, screaming about Rice Krispie treats.
One of them has to be on YouTube, right?
There's got to be a Kellogg employee explaining what's going on. We got, unless Kellogg strike,
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Well, this morning, Kellogg is no longer making cereal. Workers have voted to strike last night.
This strike went into effect at midnight after the union's 5-year contract with the company expired. News 8's Dana White is live outside the Battle Creek Kellogg facility now with a deeper look into this dispute.
Emily Donovan, good morning. Members of the union voted on this strike yesterday after negotiations between them and Kellogg went through. You could see that we have buses of employees coming here this morning, and the members of the strike are not letting up. The contract for all facilities expired at midnight, and there is no new one in place. According to the union's website, there are still some issues to resolve in the most recent offer from Kellogg, including the elimination of cost of living adjustments, the creation of permanent transitional positions, no full-time benefits for those permanent workers, an adjustment to the PTO policy, a holiday pay change, and a plan to remove all union logos from products. We spoke with one of the strike leaders this morning.
Everybody in this plant makes incredible sacrifices that most people wouldn't understand. They work 8 days a week, at least. And that's months on end without a scheduled day off. I mean, some people in the plant don't have a scheduled day off for the entire year. So we're not willing to accept that anymore.
Union leaders also allege that the most recent contract proposal was never presented to the negotiating committee. They say their committee is still at the table and that Kellogg sent home its negotiators before posting the current offer. We reached out to Kellogg.
So now there's no cereal because these people want to see their kids. How lazy are these people? What's going to happen if someone wants cereal? Do people not understand morality and what's morally right and what's morally wrong? It is not right to strike and deprive people of frosted mini wheats because you think you need to go and see your children for a day. So there's a guy sitting in a storm, and this has gone viral. Everything Kellogg's working, picnic and tree and storm goes viral. Well, these are the things I don't. This is like when you find a kid, you know, the drone strike. They show the kid and the drone strike, and they go, "This is why we have to fight ISIS because." And you go, "What?" I do like the Tony the Tiger, I'm greedy sign. It is fun because you know what you can do here with the strike, and people lose. You can have a lot of fun with the mascots. You can have a lot of fun with the mascots. Like there should be a mini wheat with the hammer and sickle. You know, the communist hammer and sickle? There should be a mini wheat doing that. Dress up a mini wheat as Joseph Stalin. If they're not dressing up mini wheats as Joseph Stalin, the Rice Krispie, what are they, elves?
They're elves, yeah.
The Rice Krispie elves should be, they should be painted, killing executives. Like cutting the throats of executives. The Fruit Loops Toucan Sam should have his arm around Mao Zedong. This is fun. This is good. This gets people thinking because you start going, oh, this is interesting. Even the mascots are getting involved. A lot of the problem is I don't care about any of those people.
Right.
You know the people with the signs? Who gives a shit? I don't know them. But if all the mascots got together, the Sun, Tony the Tiger, those Twinks who make Rice Krispie treats, and the Cornflakes chicken, if they all, or Rooster, he's a rooster, whatever. His gender's none of my business. If they all got together and explicitly, if there was artwork of them killing executives, burning their houses down, you know, that to me would be a little exciting. I'd want to get more on board.
Yes.
You know? Get a picture of Joseph Stalin up. Get a picture of Stalin up. Now let's imagine, get a nice picture.
Okay.
Of Stalin.
I like this one. This one's good.
Give the Raisin Bran son. Put the Raisin Bran son as Stalin. That's my point. Better help. People are sad. People are tense. They're anxious. The world is opening up again. And there's a lot of people that live in therapy deserts. That's like food deserts, meaning you can't get good one-on-one therapy. So what do? You go online and you talk to a licensed professional in under 48 hours with BetterHelp. If you don't like that counselor, you move on to another one. Who gives a fuck? You are in the driver's seat at BetterHelp. They have so many great counselors that care about you. This isn't a crisis line. This is real deal therapy. It helps people. H-E-L-P. And it's better than other options. If you're feeling sad or mad or bad, go to BetterHelp. If you're feeling upset or wrecked, go to BetterHelp. If you're feeling tense, if you're on the fence, go to BetterHelp. If you want to be a dancer, or if you have late-stage cancer, go to BetterHelp. If your pet has been dead a while, or you're a pedophile, go to BetterHelp. If they edit this out, I will fire you. BetterHelp. No, you gotta leave this in, man.
Okay.
Do they want the business or not? Truly. Go to BetterHelp.com/TimD. That's BetterHelp.com/TimD. There's over 1 million people who've taken charge of their mental health with all the help of experienced professionals. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp, they're recruiting counselors in all 50 states. The podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and Tim Dillon Show listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/TimD. Sheath Underwear. I love Sheath Underwear. The owner of it was in the military when the Iraq War. If you go to SheathUnderwear.com, you get underwear that is so comfortable, you'll never want to wear another type of underwear. It has a package for your balls and your junk. And this, and I support trans businesses. This guy was a woman when he served in the Iraq War. Robert Patron was a woman, and I'm not dead naming him. He likes this because it's inspiring. He was a woman named Sheila Patron, and he got surgery, transgender surgery, in Iraq. How fucking cool is that?
That's awesome.
Fucking awesome. And then he became one of the first trans people to shoot a 12-year-old in the head. SheathUnderwear.com. Do some fucking research. They love comedy and they support the show. You're supporting a trans murderer. Trans murdering business. Go to bed. SheathUnderwear.com. What does that even mean? Oh, SheathUnderwear.com. Use promo code TIM to save 20%. SheathUnderwear.com. Use code TIM to save 20%. Feel-good story today coming out of Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas, as you know, a place where I live. It is a beautiful place. It is the epicenter of comedy in America. It's nothing funnier than Austin, Texas. There's nothing funnier when you land there. It is funny. I mean, you laugh from when your feet leave the plane to when you walk back on the plane. It's funny. I mean, it's just hilarious. It's hilarious. Even the shootings, and there's many of them, are funny. Even the people that attack you in the street, it's funny. They do it in a funny way. It's funny how you get carjacked. It's funny. It's fun. And every now and then, because so much of the news is sad, the Kellogg's company going to war with the people that make cereal. I didn't even know you needed to. I thought cereal just kind of happened. But apparently there's people doing it. It's crazy. So this is just a feel-good story. This is a light, fun story. Sometimes we do things on the show that have there's a darkness to them. This is not that. This is light, fluffy fun. And it's beautiful. I want you to watch this because it is truly, it's just a great story about human beings and just having fun and doing good stuff.
This is body cam video from Starflight senior flight nurse Jennifer Roberts. Among those she rescued Thursday from a swollen Blanco River in San Marcos was Frank Fell.
She was so in control that I just felt it was relaxing to know they were there because up until that point we were pretty sure we weren't going to make it.
Friday, I showed Roberts what Frank had to say.
It means a lot. We often don't get to meet anybody after the fact or hear how people do or anything, and so it's really nice to hear those comments.
The call for Starflight to head to San Marcos came after storm waters rushed down the Blanco River and into transient campsites. They are now
this is a beautiful
scattered and smashed.
The rivers are now biblically washing the homeless down the river in Austin. The homeless that live on the riverbed are being washed away by the rivers, and their homes are being washed down the rivers. And don't think too much about that. That's not what the story is about. The story is about these first responders who then rescued one of the people.
Frank fell.
Frank. I don't know what happened to the others. I'm sure they are fine. One of the homeless people, one or two of them were rescued. So we're focusing on that. We're just kind of, we don't want to get into, we don't know what happened to the rest of them. But there was a transient community of homeless people, but we're saying transient. And it's just another example of that we're absolutely living in hell. That this is the idea of a feel-good story. That the river is washing away the homeless, and that first responders ended up saving one of them. And this is a great occasion for all of us. We should all rejoice that a first responder went and saved a homeless guy who was living down by the riverbed. Here, let's finish this.
Into the muddy riverbank.
It stopped raining, and we thought it was over. And the next thing we knew, we heard a noise that we didn't know what it was, and we looked out, and there was just a wall of water coming.
When the helicopter arrived, the crew quickly realized this was not going to be a typical rescue mission.
We knew there were 4 people. That's about all the information that we had. 4 people that need to be rescued. When we got overhead, it was apparent that not only were there 4 people, but there was also 4 people with some belongings that were clearly very important to them, and a dog. And then when I got down there, I found out there was also a puppy involved.
This is that puppy, alive and well.
I've been involved in some other swift water rescues.
Woo! Fuck yeah! We're killing it! Austin, Texas! Austin, Texas! How fucking cool is that? Come, live by the river, bring your pup, and it's gonna work out, because this bitch may save you. It feels good. I like when things feel good. And this just makes me happy. It makes me happy. Now, I don't want to ruin this by asking what happens to the people now. Do they go work at the Kellogg's factory? What happens to these people?
They were returned to a new camp under the Highway 80 bridge.
Well, it's cool. Well, that's a happy ending. That's a happy ending. So you're telling me the people they rescued went back under the bridge?
But it says.
Well, this is good. This is beautiful. I was thinking it was going to be something heartless, but they're back right under the bridge, which is, if you remember, where this all started. Now, so do you think they give them a shower or anything, or not really?
They probably give them a new tent, right?
And then they put them back under the bridge.
What's saying here? It's saying they returned under the bridge, and these were all smashed and scattered into a muddy riverbank.
I know, it's like, what are you going to do with them? I mean, that's the real issue. I can't take them in. But this is the question. I hope that, but this is just going to keep happening. It seems like it's not a great solution to just put them back under the bridge. But what do I know? But this is a feel-good story. This is what I mean about the feel-good stories. They're not going to be like they were in the old days, you know? No, you're not going to have that. This isn't a story about a guy who beat cancer. This is a story about people that were living under a bridge that were saved from a flood, that have then gone back to live under the bridge. That's the story. And they're happy. The guy's going, thank God, we didn't know we were going to make it.
Very thankful, yeah.
He goes, we thought we weren't going to make it, but thank God that we were saved and are now being deposited back under the bridge. And then hopefully, it was a team effort, according to Roberts, who added, after they returned to Austin, they had only one quick moment to reflect on the rescue. That's because the next call for help could be a moment away. Well, good for her. Good for her. This is a great system, I think. Because it gets, everyone can be a hero. Yeah. She can be a hero. It's important. You need heroes, and you need people to rescue people. Where is that thing you sent me about the Austin crime? There's just, after like, what is it, after 8 p.m. in Austin, it just turns into a rape-a-thon?
It seems to be a new segment they're doing called like Austin After Hours.
Yeah, it's like Austin After Dark. And that doesn't mean like, hear the fiddle player. It means just straight up like the streets will run with blood. I had no idea how dangerous Austin, Texas was. It's like insanely dangerous. After 9 p.m., the streets in Austin run with blood.
Hold on, I think our internet went down. Oh, God damn it.
The internet went down at the temporary studio. How's it coming with our new studio, by the way? How's the new studio coming with our idiot realtor? Hey, guys, my wife's having a baby. Hey, who gives a fuck? No one cares, this big dumb idiot. Because our business manager, who is, I want to be respectful, but he's mentally retarded. Every friend he has or connection he has is a bigger loser than him, amazingly. Yeah. So he sets us up with this, like, frat boy retard who's like, my wife's having a baby. He shows us a unit. Like, I'm not saying you have to know who I am, but, like, Google me if you have a client. I'm like, yeah, my new building, there's a lot of these whores running around. He's like, are you single? That could be pretty good. Yeah. It's like, all right, buddy, will you calm it down? We're not playing beer pong here, okay? But again, it's this frat boy kind of jovial horse shit that, you know, so we go to a unit with this guy, right?
That's correct, yeah.
And then we find out, we say, we'll take it, and then what does he say?
He says it's not available.
That's right. So he's wasting our time, he's wasting his time. Now, do you realize how low on the totem pole you have to be showing office space in LA? I mean, this is the capital of the single family home. If you want to make some fucking money, you go sling some bedrooms and bathrooms. But